Salut! People seem to hear the sounds around us differently depending on the language. At least les onomatopées, the words we use to describe the sounds we hear, are different. Which ones do French people actually use? Which ones do you need to know to sound like a real French person? What's a French knock-knock jokes? Let's find out right now. I'm Géraldine, bienvenue sur Comme une Française TV, sound French even to the French. Toc toc, toc toc is the onomatopoeia for the sound of a knock on the door. Thus, the French verb for to knock in French is toquer. And the knock-knock jokes with almost funny answers to who is there are in French toc toc toc, qui est là? For example, toc toc toc, qui est là? Amélie. Amélie qui? Amélie vieux peint sur son balcon pour attirer les moineaux, les pigeons. That's a French song. Knock knock, who's there? Amélie. Amélie who? She puts all bread on her balcony to attract sparrows and pigeons. Okay, this pun works much better in French, and when you know the song it references as well, which I will give you in a link in the video description on the blog. TOC is also the acronym for TOC, trouble obsessionnel compulsif. Trouble obsessionnel compulsif. It's a French version for obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD. I don't know if it's intentional, but it sounds a bit like un tic, a nervous tic, or un tic de langage, un tic de langage. Some words that we use mechanically or as a filler, for example. For instance, saying too much or using the word like as a punctuation is considered the tic de langage. But even more unfortunately, TOC sound like toquer in French, toquer, which is an old slang for crazy and a poor message to send for people with OCD. Or perhaps toquer might come from la toque, the white hat of professional chefs. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe you have to be a little crazy to mix strange ingredients together to create amazing food. Anyway, this brings us to miam or miam miam. That's the French onomatopoeia to express our joy at the thought of eating something. In English, they would use yum or yum yum. For example, j'ai fait une tarte au citron pour le dessert. J'ai fait une tarte au citron pour le dessert. Miam. J'ai fait une tarte au citron pour le dessert. Miam. I've made a lemon cake for dessert. Yum. There is no real equivalent in French for the word yummy as an adjective, though. You can use délicieux, délicieux, delicious, which is much more formal, or maybe appétissant. Appétissant, for something that looks delicious before you've even tasted it. There are many other ways to show your appreciation for food like a native. That's why I've talked about this topic in more detail in a previous episode. You will find a link to this video in the video description on the blog. Aïe. Aïe is basically French for ouch, when you get hurt or when you see someone getting hurt. Et là, mon adversaire m'a donné un coup de poing que j'ai réussi à parer avec mon nez. Aïe! Et là, mon adversaire m'a donné un coup de poing que j'ai réussi à parer avec mon nez. Aïe! And then my opponent punched me and I parried this blow with my nose. Ouch! I also has a more informal synonym, ouille, ouille. It sounds sillier, but it's mainly used for smaller pains. Beware, I kind of changes its meaning when it comes in three. Aïe, aïe, aïe. It can mean, ouch, I'm hurt, but more often it's used informally when you're being surprised by a new trouble or an unaware situation. As in, les parents ont appelé et ils rentrent dans une heure. Les parents ont appelé et ils rentrent dans une heure. Aïe aïe aïe, c'est la panique, il va falloir tout ranger vite fait. Aïe aïe aïe, c'est la panique, il va falloir tout ranger vite fait. The parents called and they're going to be back in 1 hour. Oh no, panic! We will have to clean everything up quick. This one is also close to the interjection oh la la in a way. Finally, I have to say, I is a strange word in itself. First is a homophone of l'ail, garlic, lie, even though they're spelled differently. Secondly, there's something you've seen immediately. The word sports a nice i-tréma. I-tréma. The tréma is the 2-point accent on top of some letters that show that they have to be pronounced separately. Here, without it, the word becomes est, as in que j'ai, which is the subjunctive form of the verb avoir, to have. Or, to sum up everything, aïe aïe aïe, il est possible que j'ai mis trop d'ail dans ma soupe. Aïe aïe aïe, il est possible que j'ai mis trop d'ail dans ma soupe. Ouch, it's possible that I put too much garlic in my soup. Youpi isn't really an onomatopée. It's more an expression of joy, just like yay! En fait, j'ai fait 2 tartes au citron pour le dessert. Youpi! En fait, j'ai fait 2 tartes au citron pour le dessert. Youpi! Actually, I made 2 lemon cakes for dessert. Yay! Youpi actually comes from the English whoopee. It's a bit childish, but the close synonym is hurrah, hurrah, which is a bit dated in a way. Hurrah is also used in the expression hippie peep hurrah. Hippie peep hurrah. It's a group response for when someone shouts hippie peep. The other collectively shout hurrah as a sign of common joy or achievement. This is quite rare, to be honest, but now you won't feel left out if it happens to you. Cocorico. Cocorico is the official French word for le chant du coq. Le chant du coq, the cry of a rooster. You might have learned it already alongside the French miaou for the English cat's meow. But Cocorico is a bit more than just an animal's cry. The rooster is the French national animal, so its cry has become an expression for French patriotism in victory. For example, Cocorico, l'équipe de France de handball a encore remporté le championnat du monde. Youpi! Cocorico, l'équipe de France de handball a encore remporté le championnat du monde. Youpi! Victory! The French handball team has won once again the World Championship. Yay! Et toi, which other French onomatopée do you know and use? Tell me in the comment section, I love to hear from you. If you're on YouTube, you will find a link below this video to the blog communefrancaise.com. On the site, I read all the comments and answer all your questions as well. You want more like an exclusive lesson on 7 ways to Greece that the French actually use? Subscribe now to join my everyday French crash course. It's a free 10-day mini course to sound French, even to the French. It's super easy to join. Leave me your first name and your email and you will receive lesson 1 immediately. And best of all, it's all free. Merci for watching Comme une Française TV. Sound French, even to the French. Allez, salut!